Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to teach you all of my tips and tricks on how to apply false eyelashes. I've got a list of points on my phone that I'll be reading from every now and then, just so that I don't miss anything, just to give you guys as much information as I can. Now, the first thing I want to say is when it comes to mascara, you can either apply mascara first or mascara afterwards. I like to apply my bottom lash mascara first, place on my eyelash, and then coat my natural lashes with mascara afterwards. The reason I do this is because if I apply mascara on my top lashes first, I find my top lashes sit quite upright, and then if I apply a false lash on top of that, the false lash is again going to sit quite upright. Whereas if I put my false lash on before mascara, it's already sitting at a more natural angle, and then when I apply mascara, it's purely just blending my natural lashes in with the false lashes, and I find it gives a more natural look, and it's sitting at a more natural angle rather than sitting quite upright. Now, when it comes to your eyelashes, you can get eyelashes that have a thick band that look like this. I hope you can see that there. Now, the band is this part here that you glue onto your eye that the lashes are attached to. And then you have some that have a really thin band, such as this one here. I'll try hold them up so you can see the difference. So you can see the bottom one has the thick band and the top one has the thin band. I find that lashes with a thin band are a lot easier to apply because they're really like malleable, like moldable, so you can move them. Whereas a lash with a thick band is quite rigid. So as much as you try curl it, it kind of just like, that was a bad example, but it doesn't mold as easy as a lash that has a thin band. Now, with that being said, lashes with a thin band I find look a bit more natural, whereas a lash with a thick band, because you've got this line of black, it almost gives the illusion of like a black eyeliner on the top of your eye. So that's kind of like a two birds with one stone kind of deal. So I'll just rest this on my eye, I guess, so you can see. So you can see it gives a lot of like definition there, whereas a lash that has a thin band doesn't look quite as black, especially along the lash line. Now, it's personal preference, whichever lashes you want to use. I use both, but I just find lashes with a thin band are easier to apply, that's all. Now, the first thing that you want to do when you get a pair of lashes is trim them to the length of your eye. Now, I find with most eyelashes, I don't have to trim much, if any at all. So these ones here are already trimmed up to my size, but basically what you want to do before you put any glue on or anything is line your eyelash up, the false part of the lash, with like the first kind of long eyelash that you have. You don't want to put it too far in the inner corner there, because one, it looks unnatural, and two, it's annoying as hell. So you just want to line it up probably about 1/2 centimeter or so, and then lining it up so that it doesn't come too far kind of down this way, because if it's too long here, it's going to bring your eye down and make it look droopy, as you can see there. So what you want to do, if it is too long, is trim from the longest side, so from the outside. You don't want to trim from the inside, trim from the outside. So once your eyelashes are sized up and they're ready to go, you want to apply some eyelash glue. The eyelash glue that I use is just the Precision Clear by Revlon. You've probably heard me talk about this before. It's amazing. It's the best eyelash glue I've ever used. It is so sticky, so tacky, better than Duo or anything else that anyone raves on about. This is holding your lashes on all day, I swear. So basically all I'm doing now is just applying a thin layer of glue along the lash band. So with most glues, it says let it dry for about 30 seconds. With my Revlon, I let it set for about 30 to 45 seconds. You just want to wait until it gets tacky, because if you apply it while the glue is still quite wet, it's just going to slide around your eye. It's much easier when you apply it when it's tacky, because then it grips pretty much straight away. With that being said though, it does make it a bit harder to move around if you've placed it in the incorrect spot. To speed up the process of it drying, I just like to blow a bit of air on it because I'm impatient. Now when you apply your lashes, you can either use your fingers or your tweezers, whichever works easiest for you. I like to apply my lash with my fingers and then I'll go in with tweezers afterwards to make sure it's all lined up with my lash line, and then push it in to my lash line to make sure it gets maximum adhesion. Now I like to hold my lash not in the middle but on like the outer third, about there, and then lining it up for your lash line. You want to stick the middle down first. Don't push it on hard until you're happy with its placement. Just come up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. And you want to line it up as close as you can to your eyelashes. So I also pushed in the outer corner with my finger, and now I'm going in with tweezers to line up this inner corner here. And then I'm also going to use the tweezers to push it onto my skin to make sure it sticks well. And also squeezing your natural lashes with the false lashes together. Now, don't think that applying lashes is easy. It's definitely not. I sometimes have to reapply mine like 3 times because I'm like, it's just not going where I want it to go. Like anything, practice makes perfect. You do have to practice it a few times. So don't get down about yourself if you're not like making it work for you the first time. Definitely, it does take a bit of practice, even for someone who's been doing it for years. I absolutely love false eyelashes. I think they are one of the best makeup creations that have been invented. They're like the cherry on the top of any makeup look ever. They just bring the whole look together and make it just look so glam. I love it. Or like when your eyeshadow is not looking great, you can just chuck on some false lashes and just be like, ha, done, you can't see what's hiding underneath. So I'm just gonna apply my other lash, doing the same thing. I'm just going to apply a thin layer of glue onto that band, focusing it a little bit more on the outer and the inner corner because they're the parts that tend to lift first or the easiest. Just while it's drying, sometimes I like to roll it in my fingers a little bit, like making a little U shape out of it, just to help it get a nice curve to it when we stick it to our eye. And just while I let this on here dry, sometimes I go in with tweezers and then just make sure that this one here isn't lifting anywhere. If it is lifting on the inner or the outer corner, don't take the whole lash off. What I do is I gently pull down the part that's lifting off with my tweezers. I'll take my lash glue, taking a tiny bit on the brush, I'll apply it onto my lid where I stick the lash, and then using my tweezers, I'll reapply it there. Don't bother taking the whole thing off, otherwise, I don't know, it's just annoying if you don't have to. Alright, so again doing the same thing, holding it not in the middle here, but on the outer, like 3/4 of the way across. Lining it up on your lash line and then gently pressing it down. So I'm not sure if you can see there, but I have got a little bit of lash glue on my lid, which is going to annoy the hell out of me. The Revlon glue doesn't exactly dry. I feel like it stays tacky for like the whole night. You definitely want to avoid getting any glue on your lid if you can. Just because, like I said, you will feel it throughout the night and it will annoy you. making sure that when you apply your lash, you apply it as close to your natural lash line as you can. So that way when you look up, there isn't like a line between your natural lashes and the false lash, because you will see that if there is. Okay, so while that lash is drying, I'm just going to coat my lashes. Now, when it comes to mascara with lashes, there are two ways that you can apply it. You can apply it just to your natural lashes, so you would apply it only halfway up, like the false lash, purely just to blend in your natural lashes with the false lash. Or you can apply the mascara to the top, all the way to the end of the false lash. Do keep in mind though that that will slightly alter the look of the false lash. So if you love your false lashes the way they look, only blend in your natural lashes with the false ones, which is what I'm going to do today. Very importantly, wait until your lash glue has dried before you do this, because if it's not dry, sometimes the mascara wand can lift the lash off and then you're back at square one. So once your lash glue has dried, you can just apply mascara just as you usually would, making sure, especially if you're blonde or you've got light hair, you definitely don't want to miss this step to blend them together. Okay, so as you can see, my eyelashes are blended with the false lash and it's hidden the band a bit better. Alright, and that there is how I apply my false lashes. Obviously, my makeup would have been done before this. This is definitely like a last step, not a step that you do before your eyeshadow and like your base. This is definitely a last step thing. I hope you learned something from this and that you can also improve the way that you do your lashes in the future. If you are a beginner, beginner's tips, I would definitely recommend using a lash that has a thinner band and making sure that you trim the lash up to the size of your eye first, because you don't want it to look like it's drooping down at the ends, and you definitely don't want it too close to your inner corner. I've applied lashes too close to my inner corner before and you feel it the whole night, it irritates, you get a watery eye for the whole night and it's not fun. If you enjoyed my video or if you learned something, please make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I can't wait to see you all in my next video.